help.
Is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
He needs care and treatment.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Daryl May of Trustee Properties on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Is this a great country or what?
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Tuesday. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Appreciate you hanging out with us here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We have got a lot to get to over the next 2 hours, so we're going to get into it pretty quickly here. We'll have Sam Spiegleman coming up in 15 minutes. I just want to hear about the impact that this coaching change looks like it's going to have in recruiting over the next month. LSU does not have a head coach. That decision is not going to come for a while. There is a staff in place that's got relationships with a class with a lot of Louisiana kids in it. What does Sam think is going to happen with LSU recruiting over the next month? We'll talk to Sam about that in 15 minutes. Glen West always with us. We'll talk to him at 1:30 about this football team and what went wrong to get to this point. Talk to Sharief Ishaq coming up at 2:30. Colin from the LSU Alumni Association going to be with us in the second hour as well. Coming up at 2:15, I want to talk about potential LSU hires that could be coaching in the playoff and what that might mean. That timing gets really tricky. So we'll do that in an hour and 15 minutes. Lots and lots and lots to do. Let's crank it up the way we do every day with our Genesis opening drive.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Genesis of Baton Rouge.
The New Orleans Saints made an announcement today. Kellen Moore to the podium, suggesting it is going to be Tyler Shough as the starting quarterback for New Orleans coming up this week. The change was made in the second half on Sunday. Rattler out, Shough in. They will start Tyler Shough for the first time in his NFL career coming up on Sunday. So let's start with this. In a vacuum, here's the Saints situation. I'm just going to look at the Saints organization and what we've seen to this point. You've got a fifth-round quarterback who did not win a start last year, started his career 0-10, was playing a little bit better at a certain point in September, but it tailed off, and then you had a disaster of an effort 2 weeks ago and a really bad effort on Sunday. And to add to that fifth-round pick, who started 0-10, only has one win to his name, and played very poorly the last week and a half, you've got the highest quarterback draft pick in 50 years on the roster. A draft pick that was made by a new coaching staff. So in that vacuum, you look up at your record, it's terrible. You look at your offensive production, it's terrible. It's time to make a switch. Like that makes obvious sense to everyone. And it is right in line with what I kind of thought would happen once we got into the middle of August. If y'all remember the timeline, I said, I think Shough's going to be the starter when they drafted him. And then you saw training camp, and then you saw the preseason games, and you saw the way that Kellen Moore was talking, and you heard how the practice reps were split up, and it went, okay, they're going to go with Rattler. It's easier to switch from Rattler to Shough than from Shough to Rattler. So this day was always coming. And I don't think it's a terrible idea to make the switch, but I do have a small problem with it that may grow into a big problem. We'll see. Here's what I'm looking at. The schedule. And I'm looking at Sunday. And I'm looking at the Rams. I'm going to look at this from three different perspectives. You may like one more than the other, but you're going to get all three and use this information moving forward. If we're just looking at raw stats, just the stats, the Rams are third in the NFL in points allowed at 16.7. They're second in the NFL in sacks. They're seventh in the NFL in completion percentage allowed. They're fourth in the NFL in opposing yards per play. And they're fourth in the NFL in run-stop win rate. All those stats, points per game, sacks, completion percentage, opposing yards per play, run stopping, they're in the top 7 of the NFL. In a couple of cases, they're in the top 3. It's a really good defense. Those are just the raw stats. Now let's flip it to ESPN's advanced analytics. This goes a little bit deeper. There's some subjectivity into what's a win, what's a loss, but it's a different way to look at it. The Saints are 31st in the NFL in pass block win rate. They're 32nd in the NFL in run block win rate. So your offensive line with the pass, with the run, is basically the worst in the NFL. And I just laid out all these statistics about the Rams. Oh, by the way, yeah, as I mentioned, 4th in the NFL in run stop win rate. So if you're thinking, well, yeah, they sack the quarterback a lot, and yeah, well, they force a lot of incompletions. Yeah, they don't give up a lot of points, but just run the ball, stay ahead of the sticks. Well, your offensive line's 32nd in run block win rate, and they're 4th in run stop win rate. That's not a great recipe. So we've heard the raw stats, and we've heard the ESPN Advanced Analytics. How about Pro Football Focus? Should we go to those? Jared Verse, what's he in pass rush? 87.7. That is astronomically high. Byron Young, 84.4 in pass rush. Kobe Turner, 79.4 in pass rush. These are monster grades. Those three, according to PFF, combined for 41 hurries, 21 hits on the quarterback, and 13 sacks thus far. This is a terror of a defense that you're going to play on the road. Now, I get it. SoFi is not exactly Arrowhead. It's not exactly going up to Seattle. But it is on the road, and this defense is a nightmare. Now, I'm playing a little bit conservatively here, and I realize that football coaches and certainly football players don't think that way. Football coaches, football players don't go, that's kind of scary. I don't really want to do that. Football coaches, football players say, who we playing next? I'll kick their ass. Like, that's the way they're always wired. I had that frank conversation with Jeremy Hill, who played on some very good NFL teams, played on some bad NFL teams. And I said, hey, in August, do you always think you're going to win the Super Bowl? It's like, absolutely. It's just the way these guys are wired. So I don't expect the Saints to make decisions based in fear. But I'm here to analyze this, and this on paper looks like a nightmare of a matchup. And I take all of that on paper, and then I go to the Saints beat people, whether it's the television crew, podcast crew, print crew, whatever. They went and watched the Saints practice against the Rams when they were out in Southern California in August. And by all accounts, the Saints could not get a snap off. I just don't think it's a very good spot to put a first-time starting quarterback into. Rattler has faced pressure. He's more athletic. There's not much to lose here. I would have put him back out there one more day. But that's not what they're going to do. They're going to go with Tyler Shough. So if you're Kellen Moore, if you're Doug Nussmeier, you do have to bake in some of these matchups with your struggling offensive line, with this dominant defensive front, an excellent defensive unit, and figure out a way to try to get Tyler Shough comfortable in this game. I'm not suggesting 4 quarters of football is going to take a 26, 27-year-old quarterback and just mentally manhandle him so he can never recover. I'm just suggesting there are better intros into your professional career than the situation that LSU, I just looked up at LSU's on the screen because they're talking about Brian Kelly, that the Saints are about to put themselves in. And I just think it's dangerous. You got a trip to Carolina coming up after that. You've got the bye week. Like, there are easier ways to dive into this. But, hey, on the other side, if Shough goes out there and plays in this game and things are moving really fast and there's a lot of pressure, perhaps when you play games down the road against lesser teams, and trust me, you're going to play some games down the road against lesser teams. Carolina is one of those lesser teams. The Jets are one of those lesser teams. The Titans are one of those lesser teams. Maybe you get the old John Wooden, if this is really, really hard, everything else moving forward is going to be a little bit easier. Now, that was a practice into game hypothetical from John Wooden, but this is, hey, you go out there against the Rams, and if you can go out there and function a little bit in this, it could get a little bit easier over the next 4 weeks. We'll see. Again, to start the segment, I said, look, this makes sense. Rattler's not plateaued. He's fallen off a cliff. He's turning the ball over. He's taking sacks. He's inaccurate. The Saints aren't moving the ball. You got veterans out there, especially a defense last week that was giving it their all and keeping the Saints in that game, and the offense was giving them nothing. And that's frustrating, and I get it. And I understand making this move. I just see the potential pitfalls in it because of the matchup. I don't know that I could come up with a much worse matchup to put Tyler Shough out there in. Like, I don't know if there's a worse one. Like, maybe at Cleveland, that's a really good defense, but this is a really good team in the Rams that you're playing. The Browns aren't any good as a team. They're just good on defense. And it's not just pass rush. It's run stopping. It's coverage. It's the whole lot. And Tyler Shough's going to get that whole experience coming up here in his first professional start on Sunday out in L.A. That's our first look at the New Orleans Saints here on our opening drive. You can find Saints coverage at LouisianaSports.net. Ross Jackson's got a piece up talking about the quarterback situation right now. You can read that for free. You can certainly find my Saints content, Hunt on Saints, wherever you find your Saints content, podcast or on YouTube. Jordan, I gave my thoughts there. You ready to see Shough, or you think there's some significant risk in putting him out there against the Rams?
I mean, it's a risk because I will be starting the Rams defense in fantasy, so it's definitely a risk. So that might be a positive for the Saints that I'm starting them. So that means, Shough might come out there and light them up. But at this point, you do need to see what you have. I don't like the matchup necessarily, but Rattler, like you said, he's fallen off a cliff. We've seen the last 2 weeks, it's been god-awful. So it's like at a certain point, you took a guy top 40, you got to see what he got. If either he's going to sink or swim. So like you said, we ain't got nothing to lose. Throw him out there. Let's just see. We got nothing better to lose.
It's 2 road games to start things for Tyler Shough before a bye, and then a home game against the Falcons. So that's your look at the New Orleans Saints. Let's talk recruiting, LSU football recruiting specifically. What is to come in the next month and a half for this class that has a lot of commitments, but now doesn't have a head coach? Sam Spiegleman next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Tub-to-shower conversion can be something easy for you to handle. If you got an older tub, you don't use your tub, go ahead and get rid of it. Old and dingy, not functional. Glass walk-in shower changes the entire aesthetic of your bathroom, changes the functionality of your bathroom, add a little value to your home, just brighten up a room that you use a lot in your house every single morning. It's One Bath and Closets. Get that free consultation with David. Sit down with him, discuss what you'd like to do, and he'll give you the options and how to move forward with that. They've got financing available, 0% up to 18 months if you qualify. It's all there at One Bath and Closets. Find them online, onebathandclosets.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Chugging right along here on this Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Glen West coming up in 15 minutes. We'll talk about this LSU football team. There will be teams to follow, and there's a recruiting class that's currently committed to LSU that now does not have a head coach, at least not the one they committed to initially. That, of course, Brian Kelly. Sam Spiegleman with the Rivals Network. Good enough to give us some time to talk a little bit about the fallout from Brian Kelly's firing. He joins us on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Sam, how are you?
Doing great, Hunt. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. It's pretty busy around here at this point in time, and I would imagine that's the same in your world. Your reaction, I guess, big picture to Brian Kelly being fired and where that leaves LSU right now with a month and some change until signing day.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this point has been beaten to a pulp, but, I covered Les Miles. I covered Ed Orgeron. Obviously know the staff members at LSU from their times in Baton Rouge and across the state for some time. This felt like I think I said it on this show, a coaching staff that could not only recruit the heck out of the state of Louisiana, but put them in a position that they're used to, competing for national championships. The only question mark was how would Brian Kelly fit into Baton Rouge? We know he's not from the South. He's not from Louisiana, which is why, Ed Orgeron was so beloved here so many years ago when he won a natty. The biggest issue, in my opinion, and I think that, he had so much success on the field, but when that teetered off, the coaching staff, the offensive coordinators, they couldn't kind of hold this ship forward. The players seem to not believe in Brian Kelly. I don't know if they ever did fully believe in Brian Kelly, but at least they were winning on the field, and there was excitement and optimism in and around the program and the future. But now that he's out, there's still a lot of optimism about the program. There's a lot of talented coaches and coordinators still there in Baton Rouge. There's a lot of players and future players potentially that are coming to Baton Rouge. I think LSU, it's going to be interesting to see how they attack this coaching hire, because they cannot afford to slip up and hire another head coach that's not going to understand the state of Louisiana, because this has been an experiment that's gone wildly wrong very quickly.
So let's talk about the current structure of the LSU football program that has Austin Thomas there as the general manager, a group under him of personnel people. And then you've got, obviously, Frank Wilson as the interim head coach, who is recruiting coordinator and associate head coach, who has worked through multiple head coaches here in Baton Rouge. So, what's that operation looking like right now, and what do you think their plan is for the next 5 weeks?
Yeah, win games and get these kids to keep buying into what they're doing at LSU. What's so different is, when Ed Orgeron was let go and BK was hired, they didn't have this structural front office that resembles, more of the New Orleans Saints than it did LSU at the time in 2020 or 2021, whenever that was. This is a full general manager, associate general manager, assistant general manager, director of recruiting, director of personnel. They have multiple high-level people in that building that you'd imagine would be a part of this search because they have such a huge footprint in the roster development, roster accumulation, and which is, we talked about on this show. It's whether it's high school recruiting was one thing, but transfer portal recruiting is a huge part of it. And LSU obviously invested so much and didn't see the results. Maybe some of those people in the front office will be evaluated by the next head coach, but that's probably Scott Woodward's call. There's a lot of important people involved here. The second part of your question is, Frank Wilson, Corey Raymond, Blake Baker. Those are some names that have left Baton Rouge and have since come back. This fan base loves Frank Wilson. If he wins a couple of games, I'm assuming that will solidify that he'll be back next year. I don't think he expects to be in the running as the head coach, but this is a man who has been the head coach of McNeese and UTSA and recruited the state better than any other current, working college assistant or coordinator in the country. This is the man responsible for all of the biggest recruits, dating back to a time of Tyrann Mathieu and Leonard Fournette to as recently as Big Rich Anderson and Lamar Brown, who are the centerpieces of this 2026 recruiting class. I would imagine that he is likely going to be back in Baton Rouge, but that is completely speculation. Scott Woodward, Austin Thomas, and whoever is named, the next coach has to say, they have to examine whether it's Frank or Blake Baker, who's been sensational this year, or Corey Raymond since he got back, retooling that room. You're assuming that that staff would want valuable assets, but Brian Kelly didn't once upon a time, so it's hard to read the future.
It is. So let's talk. Usually when a coach is fired, that you see the edits pop up, reopening my recruitment, decommitting, like that's usually pretty rampant no matter where you are. Haven't seen that with LSU's class right now. You've got 17 commitments. You mentioned Lamar Brown and Richard Anderson. Are you surprised that you haven't seen 3 or 4 guys decide that they're gonna reopen things officially?
I'm not too surprised. The majority of LSU's class is from the state of Louisiana, and most of those kids, if given the opportunity and the right situation, want to play for the Tigers. That's shown. Lamar Brown had the entire country, still has schools calling his phone. Same with Big Rich, same with Aiden Hall, same with Bryson Martinez, Jabari Mack, you name it. These are players that we don't just talk about in the state of Louisiana on Friday nights. We talk about around the country. They are the best of the best. And Brian Kelly, and more so this staff, won pivotal recruitments. And because NIL is tied in, I think those kids are largely in wait-and-see mode. Like I mentioned, Lamar Brown is talking to other schools. Bryson Martinez, their 4-star tackle, is talking to other schools, but they're not rushing to make a move. They want to see who's going to be retained, and they want to see who's going to be named not only the coach, but who's going to be the wide receiver coach, who is going to be the D-line coach. It's a lot to figure out, but because LSU, we talk nationally, they're talking about it as such a different job. And, the part of the success of LSU has always been having that background in the state of Louisiana, that these kids don't grow up wanting to go to Tulane or UL and McNeese. And I'm sorry if those coaches or fans are listening. It's just the truth. They want to play for the Bayou Bengals, and they're going to give LSU and this new staff every opportunity to stay on board if everything does work out accordingly.
So this is an impossible question to know, but let's just play the hypothetical out. That's kind of what recruiting is anyway. What if LSU wants to hire a coach who's in the playoff, and that coach doesn't take the job at LSU until Christmas after the first round of the playoff, or even into January? I'm going to talk about that in my second hour and why that's problematic from an LSU perspective. But signing day is in the middle of December, and what if LSU does not have a coach on signing day?
Yeah, that would be an extremely precarious situation. You're talking about kids that are planning to enroll in January for the most part. Lamar Brown is an early graduate. Aiden Hall is an early graduate. Big Rich is an early graduate. These kids, Deuce Gerald's out of Georgia, the new sack leader in Georgia's high school football state history, who's originally from Baton Rouge. Like I said earlier, these kids have the option to sign, and of course, they can hit the transfer portal. That's not a nuanced opportunity. But with NIL being factored in, I think that they're more willing to possibly let it ride. I just don't think it's possible. I don't think we've really ever seen a team ever survive an early signing period with that level of prospects. You're able to hold on when you got a bunch of 4-stars from in-state, but like I said, we're talking about Lamar Brown, the number 1 player in the country. We're talking about Big Rich Anderson, the number 2 defensive lineman in the country. These are premium positions. They are widely coveted. I think the LSU brass has to be thinking, we pulled the plug before Halloween. We need to have something in place before Thanksgiving so that we can sell not only our fan base, but these recruits that we're trying to attract back to Baton Rouge.
There was a lot of talk about Lamar Brown being in the stadium on Saturday. A&M obviously has recruited him very heavily, and him maybe be hanging out with A&M fans in the crowd. The rumors I've heard about everything under the sun over the last 72 hours have been wild. What can you say about what Saturday night's impact may have had on Lamar Brown?
I think I can say this for sure. Covered Lamar Brown since he was in the 8th grade, and he has flirted with committing to LSU and potentially more schools a handful of times and never pulled the trigger. He waited until I believe it was July 7th or 11th. You're going to have to excuse me. My memory is a Swiss cheese block. Waited because he wanted to be 100% sure, and his mom was a leading candidate is why he waited. And that, don't trust me, Frank Wilson and those Tigers, Mike Elko and those Aggies tried to get him to commit way earlier all the time. I think if everything works out, we're talking about some staff retention, guys like Frank Wilson or potentially Blake Baker. I think Lamar Brown wants to be a Tiger. A&M, Miami are both in contact with him. They've been in contact with him. They never stopped recruiting him. The way that this NIL deal is set up, LSU is putting a lot of resources in making sure Lamar Brown has a bright future in the state of Louisiana. I can't say that he will not open his recruitment, and he's had a chance to shut things down, but I think that's unfair to the kid. He's, I think, a week and a half away from his senior high school football playoffs. Maybe by the time that U-High has either won a state championship or he's done as a senior, LSU should have some more clarity on what's coming to Baton Rouge. I think he's going to sign with LSU if you ask me today. That's not a lock by any means. Mike Elko and the Aggies are 8-0, and they were this close. I know you can't see me holding this finger, but they were this close to getting Lamar Brown. They are not going away, but trust me, his heart and some NIL papers suggest that LSU is in a pretty decent spot until then.
He's Sam Spiegleman with the Rivals on 3 Network. Good enough to give us a little bit of time. I'm sure we'll be checking in as this month progresses. It's going to be a wild one in Baton Rouge. We appreciate the help.
Yep. Have a good one, Hunt.
Sure will. That is Sam Spiegleman on all of that recruiting. It's and that's just because there's a coaching vacancy at LSU makes things more uncertain, but everything in recruiting is uncertain. So this just adds a variable to it, and you've got a class that is got a lot of star power and it's got a lot of really good players in it, and a lot of them happen to hail from the state of Louisiana. When you mentioned, as he did, Lamar Brown, Richard Anderson, Jabari Mack, Aiden Hall, Kenny Darby, it's a class that's got a lot of Louisiana roots in it, and you figure those guys would like to play for LSU, but if you don't have a coach, that makes things difficult. And so in the second hour, we're going to talk to Colin Jeter 30 minutes from right now. In the second hour, I'm going to talk about what about Lane Kiffin, what about Dan Lanning, what about Kurt Cignetti, what about all these guys that potentially could be coaching in the playoff. And obviously, you think any of those at this point are probably long shots, but I think the timing of it just makes so much sense as to why it's a long shot. And so I'll get you that in the second hour. When we come back, let's talk what happened on the field on Saturday and where things go from here on the field. We'll do that with Glen West next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge, genesisofbatonrouge.com is the website. Every car that is on the lot is online at genesisofbatonrouge.com. Every new purchase comes with America's best warranty. Industry leading this warranty. Talking about a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, 5 years, 60,000 miles bumper to bumper. The peace of mind that comes with that is just so comforting. You know, when you're driving that car around and you feel like something's a little bit off and you just see the dollar signs going off in your head, you've got America's best warranty. The peace of mind that comes with that is just outstanding. You got 24/7 roadside assistance for 5 years. Also got that complimentary scheduled maintenance, meaning complimentary, don't pay for it. And they come to you, take the car in, get it serviced. They give you a loaner. You get on about your day. When that complimentary maintenance is done, they bring it right back to you. Just peace of mind It's the luxury experience that comes with the luxury brand that is Genesis of Baton Rouge. Go by and see them, Airline at PQ, and check out that inventory online at genesisofbatonrouge.com, genesisofbatonrouge.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday mornings at 6 on Talk 107.3.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All right, from the recruiting side of things to the team side of things, we'll bring in Glen West, senior writer of Go 24/7 to talk Tigers. He does it every single Tuesday with us here, bottom of hour number 1. Glen, how are you, sir?
Still trying to wrap my head around this a little bit, Hunt. I don't know about you, but probably written about 10,000 words since Sunday evening, and would imagine another 10,000 are on the way for the rest of the week.
What happened on Saturday night?
It looked like a team that waved the white flag to me in the third quarter. It was a team that after that punt return just looked totally dejected and just kind of let spiral out of control. And, when you're watching that in live time, you're having serious thoughts in the back of your mind about just how off the rails this could get. And I think LSU reached a point where a lot of these big time decision makers were, tired of watching this and were ready to obviously pull the trigger on this and start looking ahead to the future. And, it was as bad and as dejected as I've seen a team play in the second half. And it's just remarkable because of how well, or I wouldn't say well, but how fun and entertaining that first half was. They were making plays. You could tell they maybe weren't the better team, but there was something about the Death Valley vibe that was kind of getting them going there in the first half, and then they just fell flat on their face in the second half, and it was totally inexcusable. And don't really have much to add other than the fact that the big decision makers were just ready for this to be over.
I was thinking to myself about the player interviews in August and in early September when they were winning, and just the vibes and how everybody said how much they liked each other and how everybody was so confident, and it all felt really, really good. And to see how quickly that can change with a couple of wins and losses in college football, what's your take on that? On speaking to the players, what we did in August and September, and to get to the point where we are now, where you feel like they let go of the rope, like how quick was that transformation?
Very quick. I mean, it really started to shift, I think, after that Ole Miss game and in between the bye week there. I mean, the players still were very much engaged on the idea that they could make a run and that they could, salvage this season even after they lost to Vanderbilt, and you had zero rope after the Vanderbilt loss. But it felt like the messaging had changed maybe a little bit. After Clemson, after Florida, there was obviously a lot of conversation with the players about hey, we need to be better, but we're learning while we're winning, and that's a good thing. And that want to know mindset, want to know mentality was something we still heard throughout the entirety of really the first month of the season. And I think as the losses kind of piled up, I don't recall hearing a whole ton of the 1-0 stuff over the last couple of weeks. I don't recall hearing a ton of the camaraderie, chemistry angle of this, the last couple of weeks either. And so, it fell apart. I think that's just the simple way to put it. Is I don't know that the locker room has been completely lost from a culture standpoint, but certainly from an on-field perspective and some of the performances that they put on Saturdays together, you could tell that they just they haven't been the same group that has been able to mentally overcome some of the struggles that they've had on both sides of the ball here.
If I would have told you before kickoff in Oxford that LSU was just going to get to A&M in Tiger Stadium, like, how difficult would that have been to believe, and why do you think that happened?
Yeah, it would have been very difficult because I really do feel like those first 3-4 games of the season, this defense had shown to have some real bite to them, some real backbone to them. And I just honestly, it's hard to pinpoint one or two different things that kind of fell apart for that group. I mean, obviously the run defense was just not there. Especially stopping the mobile quarterback. Their rush lane integrity has not been there for several of these performances. And this last weekend in particular against Texas A&M, they were just faster. Like, they were just outrunning all of these defensive players for LSU. They just could not catch up to them. They were taking bad angles. It was, missed tackles. It was a lot of the things that we had seen in previous years. And I didn't think we would get to that point so quickly. To what you were saying earlier, like that was a little jarring to me, especially defensively, because they had they have a lot of veteran presence on this team. They have a lot of guys who have seen and played a lot of football, and I think particularly in the front seven, as you've lost Gabriel Relaford, as Weeks has gone down, you lost Gooden and Jamari Butler. And you don't want to just blame this on injuries or anything, but that certainly made, I think, a little bit of an impact there. Just a team just letting go of the rope and just not with some of the struggles that this offense just continuously was going through. So, and it was just really remnant of a lot of what we've seen here for the last 3 or 4 years, and I think probably part of the reason that this change was made.
Talk about the offense briefly. What do you think about the quarterback? I think we may have lost our connection there with Glen, because that's an interesting talking point and not one that I thought for 1 second we were going to have dating back to August. Like, after watching practice, seeing Garrett play last year, I just could not have envisioned that you were going to have a situation where a lot of folks would call for a change at quarterback. And I have not been one of those. I think that's something that the fan base gravitates to very, very quickly. They did it with Jaden Daniels a game into his second year as a starter. It is what it is. But I understand that it's a different look that you could potentially get from a different quarterback. So I think we've got Glen back now on the phone lines. What do you think about the quarterback, Glen?
Yeah, I think he hasn't taken the year two jump that many people thought, that I thought he would take. I think the injury could certainly have been a part of that early on in the season, but that has since been eroded, I think, these last couple weeks. I think really the big thing that has stood out to me and really has kind of stayed with me as they've gone through these struggles is the quarterback and the offensive line that LSU has right now just are not a good mix. They're just not, I think you saw last year what a strong pass blocking offensive line can do for a quarterback like Garrett Nussmeier, but he just hasn't taken that step from a mobility standpoint to overcome really bad offensive line play. I think that plays a factor into it. And then look, he's not hitting a lot of the throws that he made last year. He's definitely not as explosive down the field, and that's been something that has really hindered him, even as he's kind of put this injury behind him these last couple of games. He just doesn't seem as in sync with the wide receivers this year as maybe he did a year ago. Don't really have a good explanation for that other than the fact that they're just not on the right page a lot of the time. And I think, it's just not been the season that he or this offense or I think LSU fans and people covering and watching this team really expected from him. It's been pretty disappointing.
I thought Harlan Berry looked pretty good on Saturday night. What'd you think?
I like Harlan Berry a lot. I thought he looked really good in the first half, and I would have liked to see him a lot more in the second half. I asked Brian Kelly about that after the game, and he kind of gave you that, we got down by too many points, and, we just had to, throw the ball a little bit more, and, it was kind of a non-answer. But I thought that, Harlan looked really good. I thought he's looked good for a really long time, actually. The games where he's able to get 4, 5, 6 carries, he's averaging close to 5.5 yards per touch on the ground, and in an offense that's really struggled to get the ball going. I would imagine we see him a lot more going forward now that Frank Wilson's the guy in charge, that Alex Atkins is the guy calling the plays. I would imagine Harlan Berry and Trey Green are going to be really main fixtures in this offense here for the next month.
Briefly, I know you watched the LSU basketball team play on Sunday in the exhibition against Central Florida. Anything of note?
Yeah, I think Matt McMahon found a point guard. Deon Thomas for 40 minutes there really was in complete control of that game from a half-court perspective. 16 points, 9 assists. I thought he did a really, really nice job of managing the game. And Michael Nwoko was really good underneath the basket. I thought Max McKinnon hit a couple of nice jump shots. But I think this offense is going to be much, much improved and much more fun to watch. I still have some questions on the defensive end. They had some struggles in transition and on the perimeter, but I think they have length. I think they have size. I think they're going to be able to rebound a little bit better. Just how much better this team is in SEC play, I couldn't tell you. This is a juggernaut of a conference this year, and LSU is going to need to be one of the surprise teams next winter to really make the most of this roster.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to learn anything in November and December, at least on the positive side. If they fall flat, then they fall flat. But on the positive side, we saw positive last year, and it didn't translate to the league. So just kind of watch and wait until they get into January, and we shall see. But good for them to have more points than the other team in an exhibition game that doesn't count. Just one thing in the right direction. They'll tip things off a week from tomorrow in the PMAC. Glenn, thanks for the time, man. We'll talk next week.
All right, Hunt. See you tonight.
Glen West, he is the senior writer over at Go 24/7. Good enough to give us a little bit of time here on this Tuesday. I'll have more thoughts on quarterback moving forward. I want to get into that a little bit. We just got a long time until LSU plays another football game. I don't know how much people care about this team playing another football game. That's another part of the thing that makes the sport so great and the thing that grates me about the sport. Meaning, I like the fact that you can find yourself in a basketball season. I like the fact that you can find yourself in a baseball season. You can't find yourself in a football season. You lose 3 games, they fire the coach. It's like Florida was done 2 weeks into this season. If you're great, that's awesome. I mean, this is the most fun time of the year for Indiana fans and A&M fans right now. super fun in Tuscaloosa right now. They're feeling okay in Athens. But like in a lot of places, Baton Rouge included, it's like, all right, that was fun. Middle of October, see ya. It's halfway. That's the thing that kind of drives me nuts. But I understand that's what it is, and I understand that's what makes the good so good. But it still kind of annoys me a little bit. I like the fact that if a baseball team's struggling, we can be like, all right, well, if they can get this to go back, and this guy comes back from an injury, and they hit that part of the schedule, maybe you find something like they did 2 years ago. In basketball, you have a bumpy 3-game stretch there. You're not knocking down shots, or point guard's hurt. Like, well, we can get that back. In this sport, it's like, well, okay, we lost 3 losses. Fire everybody. What do we do now? Like that part of it is just, it's not my favorite. I'll be candid, but it does bring a little bit of hope into Baton Rouge right now, knowing that there's going to be change in leadership. So I guess you take the positives where you can get them. It's just a wild, wild thing in the sport we love called college football. Close out hour number 1 next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club, Swing Easy GCBR in Baton Rouge. Practicing golf can be difficult. Daylight savings time's coming this weekend, so it starts getting dark pretty quick after work. Cold weather's coming as well. Might not want to be out there. The grass doesn't grow on the range. You don't have to worry about the scuffed up balls. It becomes difficult to practice. How about a controlled practice environment for you at Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge? You go into your private bay, you turn on the driving range setting of your simulator, you hit golf shots with your clubs, and you can see the trajectory of those shots. You can see if you're drawing it, if you're slicing it, if you're hitting it straight. You can see the height. You can see the ball speed, the carry distance. You got a great slow-mo video of your club's impact on the golf ball. It's all really helpful, and it's a controlled environment that is a comfortable place. You want to grab a couple beers while you're hitting golf balls? You can do that too. They're on Segan at Perkins at Swing Easy Golf Club. Great place to practice, great place to hang out, great place to bring friends. Great place to hit some golf shots over at Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. Find them online at swingeasygcbr.com.
When it comes to pipe fabrication, time is money. And at River Parish Contractors, we make every second count. Our 36,000 square foot shop is ready to take on your projects right now. With experienced welders, precise fittings, and fast turnarounds you can trust. Whether it's a single custom spool or a full-scale run, we have the capacity and the skill to keep your job on schedule. Call us or visit rpcontractors.com for your quote. That's rpcontractors.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar, by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
So I'm a little bit younger than I'd like to be remembering Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods. Like, I watched Michael Jordan hit the shot over Brian Russell. I didn't see the shot over Elo in the early 90s, and certainly didn't see Tiger in the late 80s. I was born in 88. And I was a little bit younger than I'd like to be for Tiger Woods when he was dominating 97, 2000. Like, I was 12. Like, yes, I know Tiger Woods is winning the golf tournament. At 12, do I have the ability to see the shots he's hitting? No, probably not. To understand the dominance, probably not. And I spent all of Roger Federer's career pulling against him because I was a big Andy Roddick guy. So I'm not going to do any of that with Shohei Ohtani. I'm old enough. The Cubs aren't playing the Dodgers. This is the most unbelievable baseball that has ever been played on this planet. Period. In his last 2 home playoff games, clinching the pennant and playing a Game 3 of a World Series. Not the Little League World Series, the Puberty Olympics, not the Little League World Series, the real World Series. He's reached base 13 consecutive at-bats. He's 7 for 7 with 5 home runs, 2 doubles, and 6 runs scored. That looks like a Little League World Series line score. When they fudge a birth certificate and you got a 15-year-old playing against the 12-year-olds, that's what this looks like. And he's doing it to win the pennant against the best team in baseball record-wise, the Brewers, and then the American League champions in the Jays. They literally determined, well, we can't get this guy out, so we'll just walk him every time.
Barry Bonds.
Bonds is the best hitter I've ever seen. But Barry Bonds could not go out there to clinch the pennant and go 6 innings, shut out 10 strikeouts either.
Yeah.
This is, I know nobody was watching last night because it played till 2 o'clock in the morning our time. I certainly wasn't watching.
I cut off after the 13th inning. I
didn't even get that.
I was like, I'm done.
Sunday was a long day in these parts. Even yesterday was a pretty long day. I just didn't have it in me. But I can look at a box score and I know what's going on. And 13 out of 13 reaching base in the major leagues is bordering on impossible.
Yeah.
It was really hard in the 80s and 90s when everybody was throwing 92. Now everyone throws 99. And he doesn't care. He just hits it over the fence. Whatever. It's like if you're it looks like you're playing a video game on the lowest difficulty level.
Yeah.
When I was in 5th and 6th grade, we used to take King Griffey Jr. baseball on Nintendo 64 and trade all the best players to the Cubs. We had Mike Piazza, Frank Thomas, Craig Biggio, A-Rod, Chipper Jones, Barry Bonds, King Griffey Jr., Larry Walker, Kurt Schilling, Pedro Martinez. Like, that was the Cubs. And we used to beat the crap out of every team because we basically rigged the game. That's what he does in real life.
Well, that's what the Dodgers are.
It is. That is a very good point. That is what the Dodgers are.
That's exactly what the Dodgers are.
And Freddie Freeman going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Last night was a step in that right direction. But Shohei Ohtani, on the heels of a 3-for-3, 3-home run performance where he pitched, then goes 4-for-4 with 2 homers, 2 doubles, and 5 walks. And now, tonight at 7 o'clock, he's pitching.
Yeah.
Seriously. I've said this 3 times. I will say it a 4th time. That sounds like the Little League World Series.
It's unbelievable, to be honest with you. Like, I can't fathom having to play all. Well, I can't even fathom playing 17 innings, 18 innings, and then having to come back a couple hours later and play another World Series game. That's crazy by itself. What's going on with that? What's up with the schedule?
We don't need off days in baseball. We got new pitchers. Now, we don't know we're going to play 18 innings. And it's also a feather in the cap probably for those people that think that they like the start with the runner on second thing. I probably can't go that far in the World Series. You probably need to earn your run in the World Series. But it's hard to earn runs on these pitchers. They throw really hard. They're hard to hit, except for Shohei Ohtani, and he hits them every time.
First pitch, too. He just, pow, out of the park.
7th inning, homer, opposite field, whatever. He hit one to left center, hit one down the right field line. He's the best baseball player who has ever lived, and I would love for someone to try to argue that a point against that point. Like, I remember having this discussion. There are so few things in sports where you can argue something, and it's almost impossible to argue in terms of the greatest the other way. Like, I think you would really struggle to suggest Steph Curry's not the best shooter ever. Like, you would struggle.
You can't even,
but in tennis, you can make the discussion. You can even do it in golf. You can say Jack Nicklaus is better than Tiger Woods. I would laugh at you, but you would have the majors in your favor. You would have the seconds in majors in your favor. Tiger's body broke down. Like, you could do it. There are so few things that trying to argue against Shohei Ohtani and trying to go with, like, Babe Ruth against guys in the 20s who were throwing 75 miles an hour, forget it. This guy is the greatest ever. I don't even want to hear an argument to the contrary. They'll play tonight, 7 o'clock our time, out in Chavez Ravine. All right, when we come back, lots to do in hour number 2. We'll talk to Colin Jeter coming up next, and I got to give you my thoughts on whether or not LSU can hire Lane Kiffin, and then Sharief Ishaq on the Saints. We'll pause for Sports Center. That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Blue Jays could be without one of their best hitters in Game 4 of the World Series tonight against the Dodgers. The team's awaiting results of an MRI on DH George Springer, who left last night's 18-inning marathon loss with left side discomfort. The Dodgers, meantime, find themselves in a pretty good spot, up 2-1 going into Game 4, points out ESPN MLB insider Jeff Passan.
Game 3, when it's tied 1-1, if you win it, you win 69% of the time going forward historically. And so for the Dodgers to take that and then have Shohei Ohtani back on the mound for Game 4 with Blake Snell lined up for Game 5 and Yoshinobu Yamamoto for Game 6, the Dodgers feel great about the position they're in right now.
Regarding Ohtani, after what he's done so far in the Fall Classic, Blue Jays plan to take the bat out of his hands and intentionally walk him. Toronto counters with Shane Bieber for Game 4, 7 Eastern ESPN Radio. NFL, ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the Saints will start rookie quarterback Tyler Shough against the Rams on Sunday. Patriots top slot cornerback Marcus Jones has agreed to a 3-year, $36 million extension that runs through the 2028 season.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Cannon, coming up Wednesday. As we head towards Week 9 in the NFL, I'll tell you which one of my preseason bold predictions I want to have back. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2. Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Feinbaum just came on the SEC Network, starting up at 2 o'clock, and I didn't realize they plugged 2 little 2025 LSU Baseball National Championship videos right at the end there. Little Jay Johnson hugging Nate Yeske, and then Jared Jones carrying the trophy around. I've never seen that before. Like that. Enjoy that. Brings me back to a simpler time, Colin, when we were just winning natties, not firing coaches and looking for new ones. But that's where we are right now. Colin Jeter is our guest here, joins us in studio on Tuesdays. Former Tiger tight end, now with the LSU Alumni Association. Before we get into football, last week, I know big week for y'all. It was a big success, Football Friday on Friday. How'd things go?
Yeah, everything was great. We had a great Football Friday for Texas A&M. Had Kevin Minner in there, Russell Shepard, Lamine Barrow, Craig Steltz, bunch of big former Tigers back in the house, and they got to kind of get in there, tell old stories, kind of explain what they're doing now. It was great. It was also our Tiger Nation Challenge Week, which is our massive fundraiser that funds all the programming we can do across the country. And it was our biggest one ever. So great success for us this week. Looking forward to what we can turn that around into this coming year. Great week for the Alumni Association.
So it's not the Alumni Association's fault that LSU lost by 1,000 in the second half. Is that what you're telling me?
We are not involved with football decisions, unfortunately. So I do want to clarify.
Let's talk about what you saw on the field. It's startling juxtaposition between the two halves. LSU went to the half leading and got run off the field in the third quarter.
Yeah, I thought the first half we took advantage of some mistakes that A&M made. I mean, we had the block punt, we had the interception in the end zone, a couple turnovers. You had the lead going into half. Felt like we were staying in the game, and we're going to kind of look forward to propelling that second half. Obviously, that came unraveled fairly quickly in the second half, and I'm just as disappointed as everybody. You hate to see that with that team on your home field, but is what it is. I've been through that. I've been through a coach firing. It's not fun. Mainly just feel bad for the guys. The guys in the building, they're putting in the work every week, trying to be the best team they can be, and your coach gets fired midway through. It's just kind of a rough spot. So
it is. I mean, do you feel like there's any sort of breath of fresh air? Like nothing else bad can happen other than losing football games, and so you've kind of got that weight lifted off your shoulders, or is it just kind of a hole at the top of the program?
Well, here's what I know. Frank Wilson is interim coach, and if there's anybody to be an interim, it's him. I've got a lot of faith in Frank. I think he's going to have this team fired up and prepared for our next opponent, and I do. I trust a lot in Frank. I know he's going to be saying the right things in the building. to keep that team motivated and surprise some people on the back end of the season. So again, really looking forward to what he can do at the helm, and obviously, the future's up in the air. But yeah, let's see what Frank can do, and let's just stay behind the Tigers the rest of the year.
As far as the defense goes, just have not played to the level that they did in some of those early games. The competition level has changed, obviously, but what have you seen from that group?
Yeah, it's just, again, I think the past 2 weeks we've run into some buzzsaws offensively. I think A&M's got a strong team all around. But the competition's up there. It's one of those things early on we felt like we could rely on the defense. That's kind of fallen off as the year's gone on. It's going to take both efforts, and it just hasn't really come through. Again, anytime someone comes and hangs, 49 in your stadium at home, it's not what you want to see. I'm sure that's plenty of mistakes of them going back and being able to watch film and kind of see, oh, man, if we'd have done this right or hit here or been gaps out here would have been the difference. But, yeah, it's just not – that performance in general is I don't think it's reflective of this team. I'm kind of looking to see how we bounce back. But, of course, we have to be better. You can't give up – clearly can't give 49 a game. Maybe we bounce back and get this bye week to kind of recoup and get the new regime going.
It's interesting to me that they've had such a struggle containing mobile quarterbacks. They just seem to have gotten loose, whether it was Pavia getting loose more so in the backfield to make plays, and he got going forward a little bit, and then Marcel Reed had that first touchdown, then had another one later in the game. What do you see when you watch those mobile quarterbacks kind of making hay against the Tigers?
Man, it's just a numbers game. Really, it's one of those things, when you're used to a pocket-present quarterback who's going to sit back there, you can kind of rely on almost an advantage defensively. You got 11 on 10 because you're not really counting on him moving around. But when you have a dynamic guy like Pavia or Reed really showed it, he busted off a couple long 30, 40-yard runs. It's a difference maker, man. Just when you think you've kind of gotten the offense kind of wrapped up, you got receivers covered, backs covered, offensive lines handled. Just when you think you got him, then he can take off and be that dynamic. It just adds a whole nother layer to it. It's one of those things you can spy, but the minute you spy, you kind of open up a weakness on the back end. It's just a numbers game. And those two quarterbacks specifically have been real dynamic, I think, and making plays. Marcel more on taking off, Pavia more on just making guys miss and creating plays off of it. But it's a big difference maker. It's much harder to defend than your typical pocket quarterback, and I think that's why so many offenses, whether that's high school, NFL, college, everything today is going more to that dual threat quarterback.
For sure. Is when you look at LSU's offense, Harlan Berry got the ground game going a little bit in the first half. What'd you see there?
Yeah, I thought he was great. It's kind of like we're seeing more and more of Harlan each week. Not that Durham's not doing great. I know he's a little banged up, but Harlan's showing why he was such a highly scouted recruit coming out. I think he's making plays. I think he made a few guys miss. The first touchdown he had seemed like they had him wrapped up on the 7 or 8 yard line. He made a guy miss and then bounced into the end zone. I just think that's the difference you can have when you have a dynamic run game. And if we can keep pushing on that, keep creating holes for him, it just makes the world of difference to be able to do both. If the minute, like we've talked about in previous weeks, you're locked into a pass game where they can drop 8 and rush 3 on you, you're really handcuffed. And to be able to offer a run game and have them have to provide more people up front, whether that's through pressure or just having 5 or 6 or 7 in the box, it opens up everything. So I love what I'm seeing from Harlem. I'm hoping we can continue to improve on that, and we'll see what we do. Like I said, bye week this week, then we'll go into Bama, and hopefully we can make more of that dynamic offense work.
Let's talk about your personal experience with in 2016. You were on that team. Les Miles gets let go, and obviously Ed Ogeron comes in. Got to change at offensive coordinator as well. Coach Insminger comes in and starts calling plays. What was that like to go through that transition personally?
Yeah, it feels a little bit like deja vu this week. Yeah. We had the same deal. So we played Auburn. Of course, the game you think you win at the end of as time expires, turns out we don't get the game, the playoff in time. So we have to come back, fly back home. At this point, 2-2, and of course that team, we felt like we had a chance to really do something special. So of course you're disappointed, and then you wake up Sunday, you get a text, "Hey, team meeting today," which of course, as the players today know, it's not really normal to have a Sunday team meeting. Yeah. You kind of the writing's on the wall, and I'm sure it was the same case for that team. Man, it's just it's a disappointing year because you go from preseason, even at game 1 after Clemson, you've got all these highs. We felt the same way before we went to Wisconsin. Like, man, this team could really do something special. And when you get halfway through and your coach is gone, it just kind of it deflates you a little bit. The biggest thing for us when that happened, obviously Les came in, said his goodbyes, which was emotional for us, but O just did such a good job of coming in and getting us fired up. Like, hey, guys, we have so much to play for. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to interlock together. We're going to be the team we can be and prove the rest of the season. Let's salvage it. Let's make the most out of it, and we did for the most part. We blew a game against Florida on Senior Day that really kept us from being in the Sugar Bowl. But I think there's opportunity for this team to go out, finish strong. I mean, shoot, 9-3 coming off. You get wins against Bama, Arkansas, finish at Oklahoma. I mean, that you can make something out of the season. You never know what happens at the end of the year. Who knows? A couple teams drop losses. Next thing you know, you're kind of in the hunt on the tail end of the playoff spot. You don't know. But it's for me, it's just such a feeling of deja vu. Been there, it's tough, and you just feel bad for the players more than anybody. Obviously, the fan base, everyone's disappointed, but those guys, they went into the season with all these high hopes, and especially if you're a senior or junior looking to leave, you really wanted to finish out with a national championship. Obviously, there's maybe a slight window we can squeeze back in, but it's just, of course, not what you expected.
So y'all had Steve Ensminger come in, start calling plays for Cam Cameron. Now Alex Atkins, another tight ends coach, ironically, is going to come in and call plays instead of Joe Sloan. Like, is there anything you can change offensively? You kind of got what you got, and it's just a different voice.
I think it's, a lot of the scheme you're going to have to keep the same. That's what I talked to Ensminger about that, and he kind of wanted to open up his own terminology. But when you're halfway through the season, and all these guys for the past 4 years that Kelly's been in have been under the same kind of verbiage of running an offense and system, you really want to stick more to what has already been in. Now, of course, you offer more wrinkles. You kind of offer maybe more percentage of pass run, anything to throw off a defense, throw some new stuff at them. You can make some changes, and we did. I think we set the rushing record versus 2 schools after Ensminger took over. So there's plenty of opportunity to make those changes, but it's not like you're throwing in a whole new system. It's you're kind of making do with what you've been working with the first half and just making little adjustments. And Frank's obviously the guy to go in there and kind of say, hey, this is what we're going to do. The tight ends coach taking over. I think they'll make adjustments where it'll almost seem like we're busting out something new the last few games of the year. But for the most part, it'll still be under that offensive tree.
Interesting to see. He's a guy who went through a coaching change back in 2016. Tigers in the middle of one right now. Bama's up next. I know y'all got a big tailgate coming up in T-Town. You got any details on that, or we need to get to it next week?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we'd love for all of LSU to travel along with us. We're going to Alabama, not this week, of course. We got the bye week, but the next. So we're looking to do a little bit of a Tuscaloosa takeover. Call us. I've got a phone number, 225-578-3838. Call, ask for Brantley. She's the person to ask when it comes to information, whether you want to travel, just show up for the tailgate. We got plenty of options. So if you're looking to travel to Tuscaloosa, give us a call. Again, 225-578-3838. It'll be a great time. We're going to have fun. Looking to have fun over in Tuscaloosa.
Awesome. We'll talk further about it when we do this again next week. Thank you for your time, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
He is Colin Jeter, former Tiger tight end, now with the LSU Alumni Association. We'll come back. You want Lane Kiffin? You want Dan Lanning? You want one of these coaches going to be in the playoff? That's okay. I just got to tell you there are some obstacles to that. We'll do that next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. Every car that's on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. And if you'd like to rent a vehicle, maybe to go to Tuscaloosa, don't want to put those miles on your vehicle. If you got a Thanksgiving trip coming up, you got a Christmas trip coming up, and you want to get behind the wheel of something new, something fresh, maybe as a bit of a test drive, you can do that with their rental program over at Genesis of Baton Rouge. If you've never been behind the wheel of a Genesis, now is the time to look into that, especially if it's for a rental. Not everybody's in the market for a vehicle right now, next month, even next year, but you want to make sure that Genesis is on your list when that time comes for you. So go by and see them, Airline at Piku. Incredible facility. Line of vehicles is second to none. It's a luxury brand at a reasonable price. That's the model over at Genesis of Baton Rouge. Go see them, Airline at Piku, or online, GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
While Louisiana politics can seem like they're from another planet, Moon Griffon isn't afraid to bring politicians back down to earth. Listen to the Moon Griffon Show weekday mornings at 9 on Talk 107.3.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Children's School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to Dream.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All right, chugging along here, Tuesday edition Hunt Palmer Show. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Saints have chosen Tyler Shough as their starting quarterback for Sunday. We'll talk about it with Sharief Ishaq coming up next. Let's switch back to LSU and to this coaching search specifically. You hear a lot of names being bantered about at this point. Whether that's Lane Kiffin, who always seems to come up. Maybe it's Dan Lanning. Kurt Cignetti obviously just signed that huge extension, so he's not a likely candidate, although he was a very hot name a month ago. But you start to look at a lot of teams that might make the playoff. And we'll take their coach. You're LSU, top 5 job in the country. Just come on. And look, if LSU hired Lane Kiffin, I think Lane Kiffin win a lot of games at LSU. If LSU hired Dan Lanning, I think he win a lot of games at LSU. I don't have a problem with either of those names being lifted. But what I'm telling you is the timing of that doesn't look awesome. Let me explain this and how this could work. Right now, Ole Miss is 7-1. They're ranked 7th in the country. Here's their remaining schedule. They play South Carolina in Oxford. South Carolina, right now, is 1-5 in the league. They played tough against Alabama, but I think Ole Miss got a pretty good chance to win that game in Oxford. Then Ole Miss plays the Citadel. They're going to win that game. Then they play Florida in Oxford. Florida's fired its coach. The Gators are 3-4 overall. I feel like Ole Miss will probably win that game. And then they go to Starkville to play the Egg Bowl, and State hasn't won a league game in literally over 2 calendar years. So I think it's likely that Ole Miss goes 11-1. I think at their floor, it's 10-2. If they lose 2 of moving forward of South Carolina and Florida at home and at Mississippi State, I'll be shocked. Is it impossible? It is not. I'll be shocked. So right now, I'm working off the assumption that they're going to go 11-1. They might be 10-2. If they're 11-1, at worst, they're going to be the 5 seed. They might be the 4 seed. At worst, they'll be the 5 seed. If they're the 5 seed, they host a game against the G6 winner, Navy, Tulane, whoever, in Oxford. They played Tulane like 5 minutes ago in Oxford and beat them 1,000-0, basically. So if they're the 5 seed and they get a home game against a G6 team, I think they're going to win it. If they're the 4 seed, they get a bye. So all of a sudden, you're talking about the first round, December 19th or December 20th. The second round is New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, which is where Ole Miss would be playing. I don't think it's a big stretch to suggest that Ole Miss is going to have a game New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. So what that tells me is signing day is December 4th. You will not have a head coach in place for the early signing period. Just won't have one. So what are all these early enrollees going to do? Just sign with you blindly? Or sign somewhere else? Or wait? But the early signing period is December 4th. The transfer portal opens January the 2nd. It stands to reason Lane Kiffin could win a game on December 31st or January 1st. And he's still at Ole Miss in the semis. And you're going to go through the transfer portal window and what was the early signing period with no head coach in place. Does that sound like something that you want to do? I think that would be quite a risk, because you're looking at this roster right now on LSU's team currently. It is going to be a mass exodus. I mean, you can just start naming guys that are not going to be back here next year. Patrick Payton, Jack Pimer, Jacobian Guillory, Whit Weeks, Harold Perkins, Mansour Delane, A.J. Halsey. Then you move to the other side of the ball, like Nick Anderson, Chris Hilton, potentially Aaron Anderson. Not going to have Braylon Moore. Not going to have Josh Thompson. Not going to have a lot of these guys. Bauer Sharp won't be here. Like, you're losing a lot of guys off the front line of your team, and who knows what the younger guys decide to do. Garrett Nussmeier certainly won't be here. And then you compromise your signing class, and then you compromise the transfer portal. Now, if you make the decision, whoever the brass is at LSU that makes this decision, and say, hey, I don't care if we miss the early signing period. It's just a bunch of high school kids who probably would have transferred anywhere. And I don't care that we missed the transfer portal period. Oh, well, we'll field what we field in 2026. This is a decision that we're making for the future of the program, and we don't really care about 2026. I understand that. I don't know that a lot of teams operate that way. LSU hired Brian Kelly November the 30th and Ed Ogeron November the 26th. You're talking about 6 weeks later, potentially. Is that something you're willing to do for Dan Lanning or Lane Kiffin? I don't know if Dan Lanning or Lane Kiffin even have any interest in the job whatsoever. I have no idea. But this is going to be hypothetical season for 5 weeks around here. So this is hypothetical number one, because Lane Kiffin is the top name on every list that I see. The other option in this whole long diatribe that I'm doing here is, what if Lane Kiffin just says, all right, I'm leaving, and just leaving Ole Miss and going to LSU? Brian Kelly did that with Notre Dame in 2021. That team had an outside chance to make the playoff. They ended up being 5th in a 4-team playoff. Cincinnati, undefeated, got in over Notre Dame because they beat them. So it was unlikely Notre Dame was going to get a playoff spot, but they were 11-1, and they got ranked 5th by the CFP, and Brian Kelly left. Maybe Lane Kiffin leaves. I just don't see that. I don't see that. Lane Kiffin's a great coach. You look at what he's done at Ole Miss there. Since he took over, and then since 2021, only Alabama and Georgia have won more games in the Southeastern Conference than Ole Miss. That's heavy stuff. But timing is important. And this just feels like you're going to make a handshake deal in a back room. Hey, when you're done with that playoff, we'll hire you. And then they win that first game against Navy, and then they go beat Arizona State or Texas Tech or whoever, and then all of a sudden they're in the semis, and it's January 10th, and LSU, who fired its coach in mid-October, still doesn't have a coach. And then he gets to the semifinals at Ole Miss, and he's thinking, I don't really need to leave. It just seems like a lot to me, y'all. It seems like a lot to me. I'm not saying it's impossible, but National Signing Day is December 4th, and the transfer portal is open January 2nd, and it feels to me like you might want to have a coach ready to go for any and all of that. And I realize that you don't crater the program long-term with a quick fix hire, a settle hire, because you got to make sure that your class doesn't transfer out. You got to make sure that you get these 15 high school signees who might play anywhere 2 years later. I understand how all that works. It's not like it was 10 years ago where you've got to get this signing class in place. You need a staff ready to go because the only way you can build your team is through high school signees. It's not the case anymore. But Lane Kiffin's going to get paid, and I told you yesterday that I don't think money is going to be a huge obstacle because I've now been conditioned to feel that way about LSU because they found money every time they needed to find money. But the timing of this just doesn't feel right. Now, if Ole Miss goes out there and loses to South Carolina and then has a, white knuckler in Starkville against Mississippi State and barely wins it, and then all of a sudden you're looking around and Virginia gets into the playoff and Bama runs a table and Georgia runs a table, and you look around in the SEC and Vanderbilt runs the table, and you feel like Ole Miss's resume is a little bit light because maybe LSU is their best win and Oklahoma is their second best win, and those two teams end up losing 4 and 5 games, and maybe at that point they don't get in, and then you can make the move. There are a lot of hypotheticals that work here, but I feel like the likeliest of scenarios is that Ole Miss goes 11-1, is in the playoff, either gets a bye or wins on December 19th and 20th, so they don't play until New Year's Eve. And if that's the case, man, you're taking a risk of waiting that out. There was a time 10 years ago where LSU could hire Ole Miss's coach no matter what. There was a time 4 years ago where Lane Kiffin would have crawled to Baton Rouge. When LSU hired Brian Kelly, Lane Kiffin would have crawled here. I don't think that time is anymore. I'm not telling you he would never take the job. I'm telling you he won't crawl here. He's got a good job there at Ole Miss. You're in an era where Indiana's ranked second in the country. You're in an era where Vanderbilt is making a push here. You're in an era where Virginia is alive in the ACC. You're in an era that Arizona State has put back-to-back really good teams together. It doesn't have to be the bluest of blue bloods anymore with the amount of talent that's being spread. And Ole Miss is proving it because he wins 10 games every year there. And yes, he has not made the SEC championship game. He has not made the college football playoff. He has not loaded up the trophy case. I get it. But he's sniffing around it. And they'll build a statue of him if he keeps winning 9 or 10 games every year. You win 9 or 10 games here in Baton Rouge, and there are more 9s than 10s, and you're out of the playoff with 9s more than you're in it with 10s, you get run out of town for $50 million buyout. So it's interesting. It's interesting. I think the timing is a little bit iffy. So if you're an LSU fan that is dying for Lane Kiffin, you need South Carolina to go in there and beat him on Saturday. You do. If you're an LSU fan that does not want any part of Lane Kiffin, and there are some of those too, I don't think he's coming here. So that's just one person's opinion based in a timeline, a calendar, and a gut feeling. I just feel like that's probably not the answer here in Baton Rouge. I don't think the timing looks very good. My thoughts. If you're looking for my LSU thoughts, you can find them Hunt on LSU. I've got a column up on this exact thing at louisianasports.net right now. Just go to louisianasports.net and click on the teams tab. Click LSU. All of our LSU stuff right there, no matter the sport. Go to the same tab on teams and hit Saints. All of our Saints stuff right there. All of it is completely free. We appreciate y'all checking us out over at louisianasports.net. Come back. Sharief, Ishaq talking Saints quarterbacks next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is that website. Jonathan Carver and his team, phenomenal folks to deal with. Look, I know that there is potentially the most devastating hurricane we've ever seen in our lifetimes that has formed right now. It's headed towards Jamaica, made landfall earlier today. Not here, but we know the risks of this time of year. It's the end of it, but we know the risks. Make sure your policy is ready for something like that. Make sure your business interruption limits are properly put together so that you're collecting that revenue that you lose if you can't work. Make sure your building limits are right so you don't have to pay co-insurance penalties. Make sure your deductible is in order, whether it's a wind and hail, whether it's a named storm, that's properly set, that your business can handle that. There's so many things that go into those property policies that aren't just, well, how much does it cost? It's important, and certainly the Highland Insurance Group will make sure that they shop your policy to get the best deal they can while maintaining the proper coverages. That's the most important thing. So if you've got an insurance renewal coming up from a commercial perspective and you're looking for another broker to get a second set of eyes on that, the Highland Insurance Group is happy to help you with that. It's the Highland Insurance Group online at HighlandIG.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
When it comes to pipe fabrication, time is money. And at River Parish Contractors, we make every second count. Our 36,000 square foot shop is ready to take on your projects right now. With experienced welders, precise fittings, and fast turnarounds you can trust. Whether it's a single custom spool or a full-scale run, we have the capacity and the skill to keep your job on schedule. Call us or visit rpcontractors.com for your quote. That's rpcontractors.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Let's talk some Saints. Sharief, Ishaq, WDSU down in New Orleans. Big announcement today as the Saints are going to go with Tyler Shough at quarterback against the Rams. Before we go forward to that game, let's go backwards. Sharief, did you feel like it was time to move on from Spencer Rattler in that game on Sunday when the Saints did?
Yeah, because Hunt, if we look at the Chicago Bears game, they turned the ball over 7 times from the first quarter of the Chicago Bears game to halftime of that Tampa Bay game. And I would say most of it was on him. I mean, it truly was on Spencer Rattler. A lot of bad decision-making. I did have some good throws in that Bears game, but, outside of those 2 drives against the Bears, it's been a disaster for 7 quarters. And, look, it's not all his fault, but he has to take a lot of responsibility for those turnovers. 6 of them are on him, 6 of them. I mean, the pick 6, probably could have made a better decision there. The fumble, got to hold the ball better. The Rashid Shaheed, that's not on him. I mean, the receivers, were not giving either quarterback much of a chance on Sunday. They could not hold the ball, could not get any separation, couldn't he make any catches. I mean, it was a bad day, but, it was time, Hunt. You knew it was going to happen when they drafted him 40th overall. I mean, if you didn't see that coming, then you must not pay attention to football. If you're news coach, you're drafting a quarterback in the second round, he's going to play. It was not, if, but when. So, yeah, it's time.
Any concern that you're playing one of the best defenses in the league on the road this week, and that's the spot they decided to start him with?
It's always going to be a concern, whether it was Tampa Bay, whether if it was L.A., Carolina. I mean, I think they were going to face a tough the way this offense is playing, Hunt, every defense looks good.
That's right.
Let's be honest. Every defense looks good. And I understand the Rams are probably times 10 that you're going to throw a guy out there on the road against that ferocious defense. He's got to learn. At some point, you have to take the training wheels off. Let it be you throw him in the deep end against one of the better teams in the NFL and let him learn that way. I'd much rather him learn that way than wait until after the bye week when, look, who knows? You might make more. You might make some trades. You won't have maybe you don't have some of your starters, and some guys are just, quote, injured, and your team only has one win. And then you're in the same situation as you were in last year with Spencer Rattler when you don't have a full set of complementary players on your offense playing, and now you're judging him based on second string and third string players, and then you're trying to think if you should draft another quarterback. So, yes, it's time to throw him into the deep end immediately and let him, play it out and see what type of quarterback you got with the 40th pick.
What do you expect to see different from Tyler Shough as opposed to Spencer Rattler?
He's got a stronger arm for sure. He's mobile, man. Look, he can move the pocket. He's mobile. I mean, Spencer was too, but I think that you're going to see the ball get out a little bit quicker with Tyler Shough these next few starts. I think the ball gets out quicker. Got some zip behind the passes. Going to be able to throw the ball accurately, probably on the run a little bit more. I like his ability just to take off sometimes. You saw it in the game against Tampa. The ability to shake off some tacklers because he's a big body. He can shake off a few tacklers and maybe make some plays down the field after breaking some tackles in the backfield and on the scramble drill. So you can see a little bit more of that. You're also going to see a lot of disguises and blitzes on a rookie quarterback. They're going to test him, and this is a way to see if he's going to panic or if he's going to pass the test. So it's going to be a challenge. There's no doubt about it.
You hinted at this earlier, and it's not fixable right now, but I'm curious your concern level that you got an offensive line that statistically ranks among the worst in the NFL. The wide receivers are playing so poorly. The running game completely went away last week. Are they just setting these two guys up to fail?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I mean, I think Kellen Moore needs to take some responsibility, which he has, about not running the ball a little bit more there in the second half. I mean, I think back-to-back weeks. I got to look at the stats again. If they were under 50 yards again for the second straight week, I mean, that's losing football. That's not how you help out your quarterback. It's not how you help out anyone. Your defense is you're putting your defense out the field a whole lot, but you've got to establish a running game. I understand you only have two running backs at this point and Taysom Hill, but if you ain't running the football, you ain't successful on offense, and that's been a big problem for them the last few weeks. It's been a problem in all 8 games this season. I mean, you have to be able to have some kind of running game. If you don't get near the triple digits, you're not winning or competing in a football game.
So as far as the overall product goes, are you a little bit concerned that it's getting worse? They were competitive early in the season, and they're starting to slip. Is that concerning to you?
Oh, of course it's concerning, 100%. I just think they hit a wall. I think they just ran face first into a wall, and now they have to figure it out. They're going to start running into teams that are competitive and trying to play for a playoff berth, and now they have to figure it out, how to get over that side of the wall and trying to at least become competitive again. Because this week, that was bad. I keep telling you every week, Hunt, just be competitive and show me that there's some kind of progress and an improvement and development with your young players and players who are under a long-term contract. I'm not seeing that offensively. Defensively, yes, I see that, but offensively, it's a bit shaky. So now this is why Kellen Moore is hired, offensive mastermind. Now he gets to figure it out with the guy he drafted. He's got 9 games to figure it out.
Do you think you've seen the last of Spencer Rattler as the Saints' full-time starting quarterback?
I think so. Unless there's, I don't want to put it out there in the air.
I'm saying not injury related. I'm talking about being a starter.
Yeah, I think it's it. I think that's it. I mean, once it's so hard to put the toothpaste back in in the tube, man. Once you put it out, it's so hard to put it back in the tube. It's just the way it is. I mean, you drafted him; he's got to be your guy, and now you have to move forward with it and figure it out. If he isn't your guy, because this is why you drafted, you got to see if he's your guy. If it isn't, you just keep him out there in the field and let him work through it, and then you deal with it during the off season.
What's your confidence level that Tyler Shough is going to be the Saints starting quarterback for the long term?
Whew, that's such a tough question to answer right now. It is such a tough question because the sample size is so small. It's just like I feel like he hasn't played enough. But like you look at him, and he's got like the talent, the size, and the arm strength, and it just seems like he can be a quarterback, a decent quarterback for this thing, if he could put it together himself on the field. But like just like Spencer Rattler, I don't even know if they have the talent around him.
Yeah.
To actually for him to show that he could be the starting quarterback. Line's a mess, receivers are a mess. I mean, we might be in the same situation when you asked me this during the offseason, if there's a quarterback on their roster. And right now, it's to be determined, incomplete.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly reasonable. How do you think it goes against the Rams on Sunday?
Oh, it's going to be so bad. I mean, it could be like 35-13 type of game.
Did you go to that practice when they practiced the Rams?
I was not. We left like literally the day before.
It sounds like everybody that was there said it was just a complete annihilation.
It was, and that's what worries me. Their defensive line is, even though no more Aaron Donald, their defensive line is still scary with Jared Verse. I mean, man, it's going to be so tough for Tyler Shough going against that defense. So.
Well, we shall see. Last one. We'll get you out. Pels, 0-82. Is it on the table?
It would be cool.
I don't know about that.
It'd be cool because we don't have a first-round pick. But look, if they don't win soon, there's going to be another coaching change in the Louisiana area because Joe Dumars does not mess around, man. He will make that change. He will make that change if they start 0-6. 3-game road trip at Denver, at Clippers, at OKC. I'd be paying close attention.
Well, they're not going to win any of those.
That's right.
That is 0-6.
I mean, you never know. They might be able to sneak one out against the Clippers. I don't know. Zion should be back Wednesday. So, yeah. I mean, it's all we need to deal with another coaching change. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll talk about it next week.
All right,
Sharief Ishaq, WDSU down in New Orleans. Talking some Saints and a little bit of Pels. I mean, they're going 0-6, right, Jordan? They're not going to win either of those 3 road trips.
They can beat the Clippers. Because we usually do beat the Clippers, though. So that's the only one. But no, Denver, that's BTA. OKC, you already know what time that is. So that's, yeah.
Last night's fourth quarter, not the best we've seen.
The whole game was terrible. I mean, you ain't got to go first quarter, second quarter, third quarter.
I didn't watch all the game. If I didn't watch the World Series, I certainly didn't see the fourth quarter of the Pels last night. But like, so they were down 9, and then all of a sudden they were down 30.
Okay, so that was kind of the theme all night, where it's like they make a run, like it looked like they're finna get back into the game, and then just, Peyton Pritchard or just a bunch of no names from the Celtics bench. I'm like, I don't even know who half these guys were that were coming in for the Celtics, because I said today on the Pelican Scoop, y'all can tap in. I'm like, the Celtics have all these retired numbers. It looked like they put a bunch of linebackers in the game. Dudes wearing 55, 42 and all this, and they just hitting threes. I'm just like, okay, man. So first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, all bad. It's
Pels.
Get Willie out of here.
0-3. Up. He's on the Fire Willie bandwagon.
I've been on the Fire. I'm the head captain of the Fire Willie bandwagon. No.
Who's worse? Who's worse, Dennis Allen or Willie?
I mean, they fighting for it. It's like tug of war right now.
Dennis Allen and Willie making Jordan's life miserable, one loss at a time. We'll come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
My father, J.B. Faugu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Faugu.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and First American Bank and Trust bring you the Heart of the Game Award, recognizing student athletes who deliver when it counts. Nominate your game day standout at 1045ESPN.com by the 21st. We'll choose 5 male and 5 female finalists, and then it's up to the fans to vote for the winners. Each winner gets a $250 gift card, a custom award, and the spotlight they've earned. Presented by First American Bank and Trust, a banking tradition since 1910.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Back there pushing those buttons, have so much to learn, so much to look forward to. My day got started today. Got the kids ready for school, got them dressed. They come to school in the back of my car. It's about a 25-minute ride from my house to the school. We're about 18, 19, 20 minutes in, 5 minutes or so to go, and Myers, my tummy hurts.
Oh, no.
My tummy hurts. So, okay, we're almost at school. It's all right. We can go to the potty. It's almost here. Then I just hear, screaming in the back, and I look back, and he's just throwing up all over himself.
No.
All over himself.
Oh, no.
Well, that's the end of that. So it smells like you would imagine in my vehicle, and he's screaming. So we got to get to the school, and I got to go in and get some paper towels to wipe him off.
Oh.
I put the baby in the baby's daycare. So now we got to go back home because can't go to school. He's done.
Yeah, he's done.
Well, he's fine. He's yucky. He's throwing up on his stuffed animal.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm all sticky. I'm like, we're going to get you cleaned up. It's going to be fine. And then he's okay. And then 10 minutes later, my tummy hurts. Okay, well, hold on. Are you going to throw up? No, because he doesn't want to throw up. I was like, no, I'm not going to throw up. Okay, well, I look back, and it's the saddest sight you'll ever see in the rearview mirror. A kid strapped into the car seat just throwing up on himself.
Oh, my goodness.
Just drenched.
You know.
So we're taking the car seat apart. I got the hose out. He's got to get in the bathtub. That's how you start the day.
You know, Hunt, that might have been the best form of contraception I've ever had. Like, I don't even, I'm good. I am super, super straight on kids anytime soon. Thank you. I needed to hear that.
I think Myers saw the Yell Leaders on Saturday, and just that's what put him over the edge, just puking everywhere.
Or he watched LSU offense. I mean, one or the other.
Be true.
One or the other.
That was quite a kickstart to the morning. He's home now. I think okay.
Look, you strong because that would have ended my whole day. My whole day's ruined at that
I
point.
texted the Louisiana Sports Center. I didn't have anything coming up on the site, but I was like, hey, if something breaks, we're in a breaking news minute. Like, anybody can get fired over there for all I know at this point.
For real.
So I was like, look, I'm out for like an hour. I got to hose the car seat down and wash all his clothes and get him in the tub and like figure out what's going on. Because, I mean, my car was just – and it like all he had this morning was like milk and a little granola bar thing. Ooh. So it was just milky vomit, just soaking the entire the cloth of my on the floor, in the crevices of those car seats. It was just
we got to get you a deep cleaning detail sponsor or somebody.
I went and did the best I could over at the local spot and vacuumed and stuff and got the spray and whatever. Yeah. I'll live, but so I had to drive like 35 minutes with the 5 minutes to the school and then the 25 minutes back home in a car that just reeked of vomit, which was lovely.
You got to have the windows down.
I put him down briefly, and he said he was cold. And, like, the kid, he's soaked in puke, and I've got the windows down. We're going, like, pretty – I was like, yeah, that's fair. We'll go ahead and put him up.
My – this is the day from – oh, my goodness.
So, y'all get that to look forward to. It's coming.
Hey, don't put that in there. We don't need that no time soon.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Flight by Yingling. Could he use one of those about 9:30 a.m. this morning? Maybe use one a little bit later on. Flight by Yingling, next generation of light beer. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. Looking for a cold pop, crisp, refreshing, light, with all that flavor you're looking for from a delicious beer. Flight by Yingling, next generation of light beer.
All right, Hunt. So we're going to start this one off with, since we're looking for a new head coach for LSU.
True.
The CEO style of college football coaching, is that what you want for your next coach? Take it or leave it?
I'll take it. Like, it's just so important.
I'll take it.
Unless you are perfectly willing to completely delegate things to Austin Thomas and his staff in terms of personnel, and just have a small say in that, but let them run that, and then you've got like your offense or your defense that you're going to handle, which I think that can work as well, and I also think you can just kind of run things from the top. There are a lot of ways to do this because there are so many moving pieces to a college football program. So, I mean, that's fine. I want someone who's on the way up and completely driven and motivated. That's probably my number one thing.
Okay, so will Brian Kelly be hired again by the end of the year? Take it or leave it?
I'm going to leave it. I don't know that he wants to coach again. There's certainly word out there that he does. I mean, you heard Dabo Swinney say, like, you fire me, like, I'm going to go work somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if Brian Kelly feels that way. I was talking to people yesterday, like, if I had gotten fired on Sunday, like, on Monday, I would have been in Cabo on the golf course by lunch, and you would have never seen me again. Like, I'd be perfectly fine with that, but that's not how a lot of coaches are wired. I just don't know what Kelly wants to do. I mean, media is good. It pays, and you never lose.
I can see him do a media tour, though, on some Paul Feinbaum or something like that. So, next one. Will James Franklin be coaching in the SEC next year? Take it or leave it?
I'll leave it.
Leave it
but I
alone.
don't feel confident in that. Like, I think Florida could call him. He's obviously a good coach.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he does. I'll just be candid. Like, I'm hoping he doesn't end up at LSU because I just find the guy kind of hard to root for.
Yeah.
Like, I had to try to I mean, I'd hated Brian Kelly for so long because he was at Notre Dame and there's the prickly personality. And, like, you have to kind of flip that to he's my coach now. Like, I can't just sit here and pout.
Yeah.
And I find James Franklin a little bit hard to root for, too.
Yeah.
But I think there's a chance that he could end up at LSU or Florida. And certainly, you know, if Arkansas or Auburn comes open, like.
I was thinking about Arkansas.
Yeah.
I could see him.
You got a shot. Auburn
like
could come open, too.
Yeah, no.
So could Oklahoma.
I can't see him here necessarily, but definitely I don't know, man. It's like it's musical chairs at the end of the day. That's all we're playing, musical chairs. So that's it for take it or leave it.
All right, tonight, sports trivia at Court to Table on Burbank, 8 o'clock. They've got a great Halloween party going on. You can bring your kids by this evening and do some trick-or-treating in costume, and kids eat free after they are done. If you want to play some sports trivia, we'll be there 8 o'clock till about 9:15, 9:30. You can win gift cards. We'll be watching the World Series. It's an awesome facility, great food, great drinks, and we've had a lot of fun in our first 2 sports trivia nights. So come on out and see us at Court to Table on Burbank. If you missed any of today's show, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Also, always invite you to check out Hunt on LSU, Hunt on Saints for those team-specific channels. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further Review. Hope to see you all at Court to Table tonight. If not, same time, same place tomorrow for a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find